Happy Friday, everyone.
No.
Welcome to another episode of the Evolved Woman podcast. As always, we have a fabulous show today discussing a really what's important is nuanced. And as always, the goal, the intention of this podcast is to get into the depth, into the cracks of teachings so that they land more deeply, more powerfully for you. So our topic today is do not be swayed by other people's expectation of you, and what does it look like to stand in that deeply rooted in who you are.
Oh, it's such a topic because, I mean, it's all a topic. It's such a topic because, we are all, I think that when you get to a certain age and you start to like discover and uncover who you truly are, like outside of school, outside of like your parents' house, you butt up to a lot of expectations of what other people think that you're going to be, right? Like even as a child, probably people are like, oh, you're a great artist, or you're really good at this, so you should do that, or those kinds of like things that are already put on you. So then as you get older and you uncover those, you have this path then to step into where you want to land. And it's a process, I think, and a very deep claiming to know who you are, because I think most people actually do know who they are. They just have all of these expectations thrown at them about who they are supposed to be, which they believe doesn't allow them to fully express themselves and actually stand in those truths, those pulls, those intuitive knowings of what's next for you, right? Like how many times have you been pulled to go do something like real weird and crazy, and you tell somebody about them and they're like, I don't know if you should do that. And you listen.
Because you don't want to be crazy.
You don't want to be the weird one.
We are all the weird ones and we are all crazy. And actually, weird, the root of the word weird, which I learned this a few years ago, it actually means spirited. It doesn't mean what, like bad or whatever. So it's actually, and this is where playing with your power comes in, right? Oh man, we were riffing on Kanye's documentary before we got on live, and one of the things he kept saying is that everything, I mean, I don't care how you feel about the man is genius, first of all, so I'm just gonna say that. And he kept saying everything about me that people try to make negative or tell me is negative, I flip it into a positive. And I was like, whoa. So like everything like he was trying to do, and they were like, oh, you can't do that because of this. And he was like, nope, that's the exact reason why I can and I will. And he did. So I really think, the man, the artist that he is a good example of really what it means to not be swayed by other people's expectation of you. You know, at the time that he came out, the style, his style, nobody was doing that. It was all hardcore, and I was in jail and I was selling drugs and I got shot. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's all that was coming out. And then he was like, that's not who I am. So I'm not gonna pretend to be that. I'm gonna be like this quirky kid from, the suburban of Chicago, whatever. And I'm gonna be me. And I'm gonna speak from my heart, from what's true for me. And that's gonna be that. And that is good enough. Better than good enough, matter of fact. I mean, how many Grammys now? I don't even know, I lost count. But so say what you will, and it's like I feel like I just completely tracked here, but I do think it's important and necessary to say that, because especially for someone who's in the limelight, right? Who just like all eyes are on you. And to be that bold, to be like, I know all eyes are on me, and I'm still gonna stand in this. Meanwhile, you have most of us, will call, I'll put that in quotes, like regular people.
Yeah.
You don't have the whole world watching.
Right.
There's not that, you don't even have that kind of pressure to
Right.
stand in who you are. It's just like your family, your friends, those people around your neighborhood or whatever.
Yeah.
But yet we still allow ourselves to be swayed. And it's like you can't create the life of your choosing, the life that you truly, 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 truly desire to live, if you just stay in the box of, what society has defined you and put you in.
Yeah. And that can be very, I mean, as we were talking about it, it you have to find that core of you and know that that's all you need. Not all you need, but like that's the most important thing, right? Because so many people, all ordinary people, right, who don't go out and live their dreams, who have these hits about doing really cool stuff, excuse me, like put their importance and their safety and their love in those people around them and want to live that expectation that people have of them because it makes them feel better. But it's like, no, there's that something inside of you, if it keeps calling you and pulling you, like, yeah, be more Kanye, right? Like put their stuff aside. Like that's their stuff, and that's even their confrontation, their inner confrontation of where they didn't follow their dreams or where they didn't step outside and claim what they actually wanted. And you have to listen. Like if you want anything to change and you want to be choosing your own life, you have to listen to that thing that's within you without looking for confirmation. Basically, like you just need your own inner confirmation. Nobody else has to subscribe to what you are doing in order for it to be valid, good, amazing, fun, exciting, right? Just because somebody else doesn't believe that, right? It's as simple as like you make a meal for somebody and you want somebody to like it. Well, if you love it, that's the most important thing, and living your life in every action from that place, right? Quitting this job or taking this weird job or moving abroad or whatever it is, creating a business. People think you're nuts. It's standing in your own conviction and knowing that that is the most important thing and that everybody else's projections are really just their own fears. And it's not your responsibility to take those on. Your responsibility is to stand firmly in what you're here to create.
Yes. And I want to go back to something you said earlier, is that you already know, and you always know. You always have known, right? And the reason people fall in this place of, I don't know if I should do this, oh, I don't know, maybe, it's not because you don't know, it's because you are pitting or weighing your knowing against what others have taught you or what others are saying you should do. So like there's like the discord within, and you can snip all that by dropping the comparison, the like, well, I was taught this, but I really feel that. Trust that. And when I'm talking about feelings, I'm not talking about feelings, emotions like that, because that's a whole different topic of how your feelings rooted in fear and scarcity and all that can lie to you. But I'm talking about that it's beyond a feeling. I mean, we use the word feelings to describe it, but like that inner knowing, it's just a knowing. It's a feeling. There's like it's like all the space around you expand when you tap into that and you allow yourself to fully be in that. Like we started out, Jules and I we were talking about like fully expressing who you are, and which everybody's like, oh, I just want to be me. I just want to express like that. And it's like, great. Before you can express that, you gotta get to know who that is, what that is. And it's important to know that you always know. You have always known who you are. It's just that there's been things, experiences that piled up on the core of who you are. And this isn't to say, how do I want to frame? Because it's very easy to talk about like, oh, well, my childhood and I was programmed and blah, blah, blah. And there's like all this heavy judgment. Right. It's to also recognize, well, you came here for that. You came here for that experience. So you can get into your power and be like, oh, wow, those were some interesting things that happened. Because let's just face it, we're here for the drama. Let's not pretend we all want that peace, swaying, holding hands, singing kumbaya. We're here for the drama. Because we would be bored as humans if we didn't create drama. Life is theater. It's dramedy, it's comedy, it's like all the things.
Yeah. Oh my God. I know. And so like, right, you could either define those, like look back at all those experiences that happened to you and fall into them and be like, oh, they made me this, they made me that. And be like, oh, no, but they made me this and they made me that. And like, and really like embrace and embody, like if that shit didn't happen, like you wouldn't be as full bodied and fucking amazing as you are right now. You wouldn't be able to, if you're a coach, you wouldn't be able to coach people in certain ways. Like if you weren't, an artist, you wouldn't be able to express in those ways or write songs or write books or whatever you feel called to create. That stuff never would, like you needed that, right? And it's the judgment of the drama, right? Of the theater that gets you spinning, right? And so instead you get to look at all those experiences as your power, right? As you're shaping who you are, but still keeping that core, like that pull, like what you were saying, like it's an expansive feeling, and how many people ignore those feelings, right? The pull to go do something, or the stop sign to not do something else that they ignore because of all the beliefs around it, right? Like, will I have enough money? Will I be supported? Will I be, like, all of those things are being made more important. And that's why you haven't created what you actually want to create, because you're not actually focusing on the pull. You're focusing on the avoidance of whatever anybody else is going to freak the fuck out about. And you're probably going to freak the fuck out a little bit because it's out of your normal scope of what you do or how you live. So, but it's going to feel right. Like that's the way it's going to feel right, despite the cloud of whatever that gets stirred up from it.
And yet freaking out is a choice. You can freak out, and freaking out is a choice. And so I'm just going to keep going with this idea. Like, this is something I've really been playing with. Like, life is really theater. You're the writer, you're the director, and you're the actor. Like we are all great actors. We are all artists
Yeah.
creating our own version and flavor of life. And those experiences, I mean, how much do you hear people talk about, yeah, I went to this, blah, blah, blah. It was hard, but I learned this. This is who I became. And I see people talk about past experiences from two different angles. Like they'll talk about it like, oh my God, this happened to me, but I'm so much stronger. Like you can feel that they have pulled themselves out of that, right? They have really stepped into, well, they've stepped out of the victim, really.
Yeah.
And reclaim their power and really stand firm in the knowing and understanding like these experiences, they are not you, they were not you, and they do not define you. And you can also hear people talk about it even though they say in the words, but energetically it hasn't really landed, like, oh, I went through so much, and my life was so hard, but I'm like, it's a different energy. There's not a full embodiment of like, I chose to be here. I chose to engage in life. Yes, I've had shitty experiences and I learned a lot. And none of this is me.
Right.
So like you uncover who you are by really coming to seeing that none of those experiences, as shitty as they may have been, are not you. They don't define you. They don't make you, they don't really make you who you are. I know people say, "Oh, those experiences made me who I am today." Who you are, oh, you've always been you.
Yeah.
Is how do you have you extract? Is that the word? Extrapolate, extract gold from that situation to add to give you more flavor. But they're not. They're not you. They
Yeah.
allowed you to be more of you.
Yeah. They give you the opportunity to express yourself in a new way.
Yeah, step more fully in who you are. And that's what we hope. That's our intention with this podcast, that what we share here really allows you to step more fully into who you are as an evolved being, knowing that there's always more to expand and evolve and do.
Because that's who you truly are. And that's all you really want to be.
Yes.
You
So
don't.
be all that you want to be.
Isn't that like an army thing? Be all you
I
can
know. It says be all that you can be. Yeah, in the army. But be all that you can be in your life.
be all that you are now.
Yes,
Express that fully.
yes, yes, yes. Well, that is a wrap for today.
Yes.
We'll see you guys next time. Have a fabulous weekend.
All right. Bye.